Concord. Let's talk about it. Perhaps for the last time. Other than when it comes up in the future as a, man, remember when that happened? Dude, that was the craziest shit I've ever seen. Concord has been pulled from sale from all the digital stores, be it Steam or Epic or the PlayStation Network. And it's a competitive first-person shooter, 5v5 game, with modes that I feel are relatively similar to a Call of Duty game. It's got a kill confirmed style mode. It's got team deathmatch. It's got a domination style mode, like a hard point kind of mode. And it's not great. It's not bad though. I guess that's the sort of the thing is there's a lot of so as the game basically was available for 11 days before they took it off sale, and the servers will have been active for pretty much exactly 2 weeks when they shut it down on Friday. There's been a lot of oh, this game's terrible, it's disgusting, or whatever, and it's not. It is the most middle of the road. It's not super fun. It's not a super awesome game. I'm not going to sit here and try to sing the virtues of Concord. I wrote a whole review of it that you can read at patreon.com/Jeff Gerstmann. If you would like to get into the specifics of that, that's a free. You can go read that for free. It's not locked behind anything. M. Bowles says Verge had a brutal headline. Concord was worse than bad. It was forgettable. Yeah, that's exactly. I've always said this about reviewing games, is that dude, the hardest games to review are the ones that are just this middle of the road, just nothing to hang your hat on, of just all right, man, they made this, I guess. That GameSpot 5 to high 6 range back in the day. Those were the shittiest reviews to have to write, because what do you even say? It's just a lot of games that are the equivalent of a shrug, and you're just okay, this happened last night, a login queue, and I was how is that even possible? What the heck is happening here? And I wonder if they shut down a bunch of the servers because they realized they didn't need them. Let's watch the third cutscene. That was their hook, was a weekly cutscene.
We're gonna have company. Dark Cutter crew is inbound.
Copy that.
We will show no mercy.
Copy that.
But we will honor their starship, because we follow Free Gunner code.
That's right, we do. What?
The AV sync on this is completely fucked.
I thought I'd call myself.
What? Not the dream of an elite guild commander?
Guild commander was the dream. How messed up is that, huh?
Well, our dreams are built on what we know.
I don't know why,
behind the nebula.
but there you go.
Yeah. I didn't know much. Not sure I know much more now, but enough to say I'm lucky to be here.
And we are lucky to have you. So, we got a lock on the Blue Buddy and window, thanks to the skimmer attack. All we need to contend with now is the Dark Cutter crew.
Shouldn't be a problem. I hear we will show no mercy.
They do not stand a chance.
These were designed to introduce you to the characters and all this other stuff, but they never. So the cutscenes showed up in the beta. The first 2 cutscenes showed up in the 2 weeks of their beta, and so this is kind of the only new one, in a weird way. Fantastic. What do we get out? 20 seconds out? So, you know, it has Call of Duty style modes, but it does not have Call of Duty style loadouts or characters or anything like that. It is, you know, in much the way in Overwatch or something like that would go, it has set characters with set abilities and set loadouts. So your ability to configure the characters to your liking is not really a thing, which, you know, in games like this, that's not completely out of line. What you do have is these variants, and you'd have to unlock them. And I got into trying to unlock the second variant for this guy, and never got there, and now I never will. It says here for variant 1, when he does a dodge, his mobility is increased. I think for his variant 2, I think you just have more bullets and grenades or something. You know, you carry more stuff. But like, you'd have to do these. Basically, to unlock a variant, you have to complete 5 challenges. So yeah, extended mags and additional grenades, which would be very useful for this specific character, which is the only character I enjoyed playing. New variant available in 5 days. Everyone come back in 5 days and get to work on that. And so I have to do a bunch of ability damage to finish this second one, and then I can move on to the third one, and then the fourth one, and then the fifth one. And then once I'm done with all of that, I will unlock this second variant. That's a lot of work to do for one character. But again, if it's a game that you really loved and you were suddenly playing hundreds of hours and all this other stuff, maybe it makes sense, right? I think the gameplay is overly slow on the movement side and all of that. I tend to prefer a little bit higher speed. And that's one of those areas of the game where you can tell, like, oh, this came from people who worked on Destiny or Halo or something. You're like, okay, it's like that pace. But then it's Call of Duty modes. And then it's like these ability shooter kind of stuff. And that I don't think the abilities are super exciting. And so it all adds up to this game that, you know, that you could do better. You could be playing something else. And everyone did. In fact, maybe this is it, huh? Maybe we'll have to go into the... So, in the round-based playlist, I guess everyone is currently furiously trying to get the Platinum Trophy. And they're playing this rivalry playlist, and they are just jumping off the edge over and over again because that's the fastest way for a round to end. And that's the fastest way for them to gain XP. And so they're desperately trying to level up. Because there are trophies in here for... fucking all kinds of shit. Was it Shift F1? There we go. There's trophies for getting every character to like level 10 or level 20 or whatever. Eliminate 50 enemies as this character, as this character, as this character. So like per character elimination, you know, like kill limits and... Oh, that's cool. They should patch that.
On my mark.
Sony has not said anything. My initial thoughts about trophies, because the way they're going to pull this game offline is so unprecedented, my initial thought on this was like, oh, they're going to also like pull the game entry off their database and like eliminate trophies from everyone's profile and like completely remove it from existence. And so that was my thought. Maybe they won't, but they probably should.
Got my med kit ready to set up.
And so because I did that roll, now my mobility is a little higher for a couple of seconds. Is basically how that works.
Healing pad right here. Build up. Nothing's getting through this. Spotted a sniper.
This is, I should, maybe after this match, we'll switch to PlayStation, and, because we'll have an easier time getting frame rate there. This is, so now I'm actually surprised, because this game runs fucking fine. The idea of this game having, like, performance issues just because I'm streaming seems, like, weird. Like, this makes me think there's something else going on than just a single PC streaming setup. Because this game should not run like this, even streaming. But... Yeah, I've just been dealing with a lot of ghosts on the streaming stuff lately, and it's been frustrating, for sure. His other ability is a smoke grenade that you can see through the smoke. But like a lot of the enemies, you know, you see the life bars over these enemies' heads and how long it takes to chew them down. Like, the time to kill is just fucking brutal, man. You know.
I'm hurt. More where that came from, rookie.
Best medtech on the market.
One of the things I like that they did is
Going here.
oops, that sucked. Your abilities don't necessarily recharge on a cooldown. They, you pick up items after eliminating an enemy, and that will recharge the stocks of your abilities.
Healing pad right here.
Looks kind of like Halo in movement. Yeah, you've got a double jump. It's not a boosty sort of squirt thing like the Destiny jumps were. Oh, another trophy. I think it would be really funny if on top of and maybe a bad thing now that players are trying to make it happen. I think it would be really funny if Sony wiped all the trophies off of everyone's profile for this game. But I also think that that's kind of the right thing to do for how long it was out, and for, you know, like here's a bunch of now completely unattainable trophies for a game we're not selling anymore, and for a game that, like, honestly we kind of wish we didn't sell in the first place. And we're giving everyone refunds, and we're, you know, like the make good aspect of this, or the like vanishing this game into a fucking hole in the ground, makes me think that they should remove the trophies as well. And so these players who are like desperately trying to grind out the platinum here,
Spools everywhere. Excellent. Got your safe zone right here.
it'd be very funny. A bummer for them, but it'd be very funny if all those trophies vanished. And so this is the Spore Man. He's got spores. You know, like the mushroom guy from Battleborn that everyone loved.
Got trouble here. Go here. Don't worry.
I need healing.
It is fun. Yeah, I guess the other situation is like I don't think anyone involved in these decisions, I don't think any of them care enough about trophies to even remember that that's a thing. And someone will bring it up at some point and they'll go, "What? Oh, whatever. But I don't know. I think, you know, ultimately, like it's an embarrassing situation, right? One that Sony would probably love to have it go away.
Get down.
Almost there. Keep out. Best med tank on the market.
Reload in progress.
And yes, they don't normally, they do not normally delist, they don't normally remove trophies for games that have been delisted, but also this game was only on sale for 11 days. Like, this is an unprecedented situation.
Dome's on the move.
There's never a situation like this for console games. Like, it's just, it's fucking crazy. It's like, there's something about it that is like frightening to me.
Get to fly another day. Let's fuel up and get
It's not just a delisting. It's a we're unselling you this game. We are let's try to make everyone forget we ever did this. And having trophies on people's profile will make them go, "Oh, hey, wait. Is that ever coming back?" Let's switch to PlayStation. Because I spent a bunch of time rewiring that stuff last night, and hopefully it should just work now. Let me grab my other PlayStation controller. Okay, we need this remote control because I need to change to output number 2. I need to turn this TV on. This is like an annoying workaround, but oh, why did that drop? Oh, it's because I turned the TV on. It has to resync because now it, God damn it. That is not what should be being displayed on that screen whatsoever. Hold, please. Okay, now I need to push that button so that I can hear it. And I need to change the input on this screen. It's a very slick setup when it is all functioning properly, and it did not function properly for a good long time, and now it does. Or we'll see. This is the first console game I've streamed in a little while, huh? Want to watch this whole cutscene again? Yeah? On every boot, they showed you this cutscene. Every time you launched the game, they showed the cutscene, even if you had seen it already. It was like one more thing to skip when you launched the game. And it was like, just this unfathomable, like, what? Why?
Copy that.
But we will honor their starship because we follow Free Gunner code.
That's right, we do. What?
Free Gunner. It's not something I ever thought I'd call myself.
What? Not the dream of an elite guild commander?
Guild commander was the dream. How messed up is that, huh?
Well, our dreams are built on what we know.
I cannot do this. So like, yeah, I don't know. Like I heard from someone that they were working on content for like season 3 already on this thing. You know, when the plug got pulled, like there's something fucking scary about all this. Like it feels fucking bad. Like even if I can understand like why you would take this game off sale and all this other stuff. The part that is harder to understand is like, why did you put this out without doing more work, without getting, you know, is it just something where you're like, hey man, this game's been in development for a very long time. At some point we've just got to bite the bullet and put this fucking thing out because we're tired of, you know, like it's not going to get any better. Like let's go. You know, that's certainly a thing that has happened in the history of games before. Like how did they think this was going to go? We talk a lot about games being sent out to die, but like you know, Sony has launched games with little like people have criticized Sony's ability to market a video game before. You know, it's not the first time that's come up, but is this something where the deal to make this game happened a long time ago and obviously different people were in charge then? And then at some point they bought the studio and different people were in charge then. And then they looked at, you know, and then the higher ups took a look at this and went, what? You know, all the stuff about Hiroki Totoki coming in from on high after Jim Ryan was out and being like the interim guy. Like every quote out of him was like, yeah, I don't know, man. Destiny or Bungie seems like they could be better. Like everyone seems like they could be a little bit tighter with dollars these days. And some of the other stuff he said, it seemed ice cold at the time. You're like, well, fuck, this guy seems like a dick. And now you're like, But he also came in at like, you know, the 11th hour. This game was basically done and ready to go by the time the Jim Ryan changeover happened and whatever else. But like, I just don't know. Like that aspect of this is another kind of weird thing. But like, I don't know, like this is a game, the beta didn't go well for them player wise. Like people were never interested in this game. There was never a time where people were like, hell yeah, Concord. Or like, you know, the number of people who were like that is extremely low. Every time you say that, there's always one guy that's like, well, I've played it for 60 hours and I love Concord. Like, okay, yes, fine. Okay, there are 12 of you. That's the problem. Retooling it to make it free to play isn't going to save it. Like I was saying on the podcast yesterday, this game's problems are more fundamental than that. Like it, you know, charging $40 for it probably doesn't do it any favors, but it's not like if they had put it out for free, you would have tried it because the beta was free and no one gave a shit. People are already playing something else. In a lot of ways, that's the answer. And I'm sorry if I'm loud right now. The console audio is coming in extremely hot into these headphones right now.
On my mark.
Gotta unlock that second variant, man. And yeah, it's tempting to try to like think about this and wrap it up in some kind of like, okay, what does this say about the video game business? And what does this mean for this? And what does this mean for that? I don't know that there's any highly specific lesson to learn here. Yeah, X-Defiant is not, yeah. When was the last time anyone said the word X-Defiant out loud?
to be and bugs to liquefy.
Hostile here! Throwing a smoke screen. I'm hit bad!
Ugh. But yeah, last I heard, the X-Defiant player count was not in amazing shape. Oh man, I have played a little too much Black Ops 6. This run speed, like I am. This is so slow. I find that when I see a guy, I just tend to throw all 3 of my grenades and hope for the best, and that is occasionally worked out well for me. But it's, yeah, man, it's just a slow-moving game. There are characters that are a little bit faster than others, and all of that, you know, different levels of mobility. But like even the fastest characters in the game were just like sluggish, you know. Also, I am used to the problem of playing a lot of Black Ops 6 over the weekend is I'm used to running and then being able to kind of strafe back and forth as I'm running at a decent rate, and this game doesn't do that. Most games don't do that, so that's not a huge surprise. Oh, there's a guy here too. Like maybe if they had a bunch of yeah, no, I don't know. I was gonna say, what if they had story missions and a little more PvE or something, but like I don't, like realistically, say you can't imagine the feeling of the developer office, dude. Yeah, I really feel for yeah. I've got to turn this down. Is there a way for me to, what is the way for me to turn this down? I used to have a thing on my stream deck to do that, and I removed it recently because I couldn't remember why it was there, and now I immediately remember why it was there. Fuck those spores. It's a strange case, man. Like again, the game's not bad. I think it's it feels very kind of generic and just kind of whatever. I wonder if my teammates can see through this smoke or not. That'd be a bummer for them.
Healing up. Don't test me. Never stood a chance. Freeze!
Ah.
Grenade! Get down!
Ah, that grenade bounced off. That's bad. Maybe after this, we'll try the other playlist to see if we can get in one of those matches where people are just diving off the edge over and over again. This is like... Is the somersault character specific? Everyone's got a dodge of some kind. Everyone's got like a, I believe, has like a double tap. Like a double tap dodge.
Thumbs up! Nothing's getting through this. Best med tech on the market.
Healing. One sec.
That guy's a healer. You can throw down some kind of healing dome.
Incoming grenade!
Runs at 120 frames per second on a PlayStation, if you're so equipped. Act now, you know. Like, I guess what I'd say is I don't think it's hard to see why this game isn't successful and why it isn't thriving in a world where there are a lot of other games out. Oh, should have reloaded the gun, I guess. You wonder, yeah, you wonder about the cinematics, like how many they had in the can. Yeah, I bet they had quite a lot of them, or at least the rest of this season, and they probably had most of next season's, at least in some form of completion. And maybe even storyboards for the season after that. Like, I don't know how far ahead you end up working on some of that stuff. It depends, right? Okay. While this match is over, I'm gonna very quickly switch back so that I can adjust the volume on this because it is too high.
That's something to be proud of.
Volume controller. Nope, that doesn't do it at all. The thing I thought was going to adjust it in my headphones doesn't. Okay, so I just need to do it the old-fashioned way here. Hang on a sec. And that's move it over to a monitor that I'll still be able to see. Oh, it's not on that. What is it on then? If it's not on game... So this is an optical audio port that I have coming out of the television and into the back of the Go XLR, which oh, it's the console. That's what it is. There it is. Found it. found it. I've fixed the extremely loud audio in my ears. You know, and then they had this concept, like, unlike a lot of these games make you, you know, like, want to main a character and get good with a specific character. Their idea here was that you would, in some of the higher end modes, you would need to you would build your own deck of characters here. And you would switch between them over the course of the match. You see here, you earn crew bonuses when you play with different characters with different roles during a match. They apply to your entire crew through remaining rounds. And so it's like it's built for you to kind of jump between characters, which requires you to have a lot of characters that you want to play as, or at least one per type of the 5 types of characters that they have. And then on top of that, if someone else is playing your character, you can't pick that character unless you have a different variant unlocked. I think you can have a 1 and a 2 in the match at the same time. I think you can do that. And so, yeah, like people, yes, and someone said like, well, other games limit to 1 character per match and doesn't even sound like, yeah, the way they went about it here is different. The way they went about it here was designed to try to get you to jump between characters a lot. And I think that's a huge mistake. Unless your characters are all awesome and everyone loves them. But generally speaking, people come up with 1, 2, maybe 3 characters they like to play in a game like this. In case their primary character is taken, then they need to have a backup, right? And so they're like, oh, well, when I play support, I play as this guy. When I play as this guy, you know, and I think that's something you could roll out, and it really only is a factor in this high-end mode here, because this is the only round-based mode. I feel like that's something that they could have waited to roll on. Well, whatever. Honestly, it should have just launched with... It's a weird thing to say, but if they had launched with fewer modes that were a little more focused, and then said, hey, later on, we're going to get into ranked, and we're going to get into this, and we're going to get into that, and round-based this, and then with that... say like, hey, okay, now we've got a mode where you need to change characters every round, and you know, it benefits you to do this way and all of that. But at launch, who's going to do that? They don't even know the characters yet. At launch, like if you like playing a healer, you should be able to play a healer and not have to go like, oh, well, I'll play as this other healer, but now we have 2 healers, and is that the right? You know, it's just like team comp stuff that like, if you're playing in random matchmaking, it's just not going to happen. And asking people to build like their deck of 16 characters that they bring in so that they have the, you know, the variants that they want to use, so that because they got to pick from them, and then eventually they're grayed out for whatever reason. Like, too much. We need to secure a strategic zone. Capture the zone.
On my mark.
But you know, the different characters will have, like, you know, not everyone has 2 guns. Some characters only have 1 because they've, you know, in theory they've got other stuff in their toolkit. In theory.
Get in there and secure the zone. Anyone gets in your way, take them out.
I guess we'll see if these guys are playing for real or if I'm just to jump in this hole.
Good luck trying to catch me.
NC is down.
Now we're gaming. Except for this one guy on our team.
Target area's wide open.
And apparently 4 guys on the other team. Why are we jumping in the hole? Because we're grinding XP, baby.
Me and my crew.
It's hole 30. Checking my watch here. It's hole o'clock.
Let's show them what free gunning.
Let's show them what free gunning really means. Whole squad.
Bail is down.
Mushroom Man not getting the memo. Also, the entire other team is not doing it, but I'm guessing that they don't spawn near a hole the same way we do.
All right.
I mean, I guess if I'm trying to get character-specific XP, I should pick the same character, but I'm not actually. We're just gonna do one round of this and then never play it again. Whole party. So my theory on the whole party is that this is the fastest, since this is a round-based mode, this is the fastest way for you to end the round is to jump in the hole. And when the game match ends, you get a bunch of XP because it's a round-based mode. And so thus it is longer in theory than the other modes. And so they just give you a baseline higher level of XP. Is this the digital version or did I open my physical copy? My physical copy should be arriving sometime today, and I do not believe I will open it.
I'm not letting them get away with this.
Bail is down.
I also have a Steam key for this game that is unredeemed. I don't know what will happen to that.
No one left to fight. This one is theirs.
On my mark.
My physical copy is worth $400 according to eBay. Yeah, that's not going to last. That's not going to be a thing. I don't expect that copies of this will ever be worth much of anything. The only scenario in which a physical copy of Concord will be worth it is in a world where they bring Concord back as a free-to-play game and it is a massive success
Never stopped us before.
at the level of Fortnite. And then they make it so if you can prove you had an original version of the game, if you were original purchaser, thus you had a physical copy of the game or whatever else, they give you a bunch of cosmetics that you would not be able to get any other way. Sort of like how they have, like, there are physical copies of Fortnite that have weird skins packed in with them. that are like expensive. That is the only scenario, I think, in which a physical copy of Concord will have any value. Otherwise, what is it? It's a disc that does nothing. It's a disc that has some data on it, but someone will just archive the directory that the data was in, right? It's not going to be, you know, like the data, the most recent version of the game will not be hard to come by if you so desire. So... like, I don't know. Yeah, why would you list it on eBay? Like, I bought mine from Best Buy. I could drive to my Best Buy right now and probably buy a copy. Still. Walmart had them in stock yesterday for $40. So I think anyone listing it on eBay right now is just like trying to scam. And, well, yeah. I think where it all went wrong for Concord is right here. The Sweatstrom. Coming up with the term the Sweatstrom and then including it in your video game. The Sweatstrom is what we lovingly call the spectrum of competitiveness and intensity found across modes. Concord offers a broad range of activities, so you always have a mode to play no matter what mood you're in. The playlists are ordered by Sweatstrom rating from low to high. The Sweatstrom. It's like the spectrum of sweatiness. How sweaty is a mode on the Sweatstrom? There are things about this game I will tell you are not bad, and I do feel bad for the development team. It's a terrible situation. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. The term Sweatstrom, that part was avoidable. That part was avoidable. And then they've got lore. They have this weird map. And that's like a fun little transition that I think looks really nice. But then you can go to this map and go like, yeah, tell me more about the guild military route R101. Oh, it's the most critical? Okay, all right. And some of them has sub-entries. I said, yes, and you can go in and you can read about super light. Or salt fuel. How much lore is in this game that no one will ever see because it was, you know, more of it kind of got unlocked every week, or as you play on different maps, it unlocks different little bits and pieces, and like... why? I'm a fan of lore, because why not, right? If you're going to write a brand Bible that tries to help the team working on the game figure out what they're making and all kind of get on the same page about what this world is so that they make choices, like, you know, if you're doing that work anyway, which a lot of games do, you might as well expose, you know, some of that in the game. But in a situation like this, where it's like, it's a 5v5 competitive shooter with some maps and all this, like, it just, this and the weekly cutscene stuff, it all of it feels like a desperation of just like, we've got to figure out a hook for this game. Oh my God, we've got to figure out something that people can latch onto in this otherwise unremarkable video game, you know? And it's such a bummer. My lore level went up. Also, the more lore you look at, you have a separate level Where do I see where? I have a lore level of 8. Because I clicked all the exclamation points. And yeah, Destiny had a lore. Yeah. You know, as you looked at that stuff in the Grimoire, you would add it to your point total and all that other stuff. But that was really just kind of checking it off. Also, Destiny, a big, long, story-driven thing, and this is not. You know? So, yeah. That's Concord. I'm going to go with that one. Oh, wait, there was one more. I'm going to go with that one. So yeah, it's an unfortunate situation. You know, I don't know what else to say really. I feel for like the team that made this thing. You know, years were spent making like assets that like were not bad at, you know, like again, I there's nothing necessarily about this game that's straight up bad. It's unremarkable. And you know, I'm sure that there will be stories to tell about it, right? As we get a little further away from it and all of that. And also, I guess, like, you know, at some point the story will come out, hey, they're no longer working on, you know, like what's really going to happen here in terms of, are they actually going to try to do something? Is there any kind of cogent plan in place as to like, here's what we're going to do about the Concord situation? Certainly not yet, right? I mean, but what must it have been like to be there at that studio and then have word come down? I'm like, yeah, okay, this is it. Was it like day one? Were they in meetings going like, hey, this isn't going to work, we got to do this, we got to, you know, because there's changes they made the launch weekend. They knew launch weekend that like their 3 multiplayer hopper system was not serving them well because they lowered the level requirement on the third one, presumably because there were not enough players there to find a match. Like, they know during beta, they know pre-order numbers. They have a good idea, right, of just like, okay, this is not getting over. We don't know I don't know. Like, were they already like, hey, you know, launch weekend, the Monday following launch? Are they just like, okay, like, we got to pull everybody into a meeting room and figure out what the hell we're doing here? Like on the publisher side, on the management side, and then go like, okay, what's it going to take to give refunds? What's it going to take to, you know, unless this thing turns around in the next like 20 minutes, you know, what are we doing? Because for as much as it's easy to say like, oh, they had to have seen the writing on the wall, they still shipped it. They still launched it. And now they're unlaunching it at, you know, at some expense to them, I'm sure. And they'll have to deal with whatever the physical copy situation is. But again, if enough people bought that, then we wouldn't be in this situation, right? If it was going to be a problem to refund the people that bought it physically, then they would have enough copies out there to maybe feel better about the game. And so, yeah, I don't know. And who knows what it means for Firewalk going forward? Is this something where, you know, they are going to work on this game for a while, and then unless there's some magical concept that everyone buys into, they're like, oh, okay, we're going to give this another shot. Do they just pull the plug on the team? Do they? And a lot of people have kind of said other things about Haven Studios, who's also working on kind of a live servicey sort of thing. You know, the published by Sony. Is it a situation where Sony's going to come in and go like, hey, you'd better knock it out of the park, because I don't know if you heard, but it's going bad over here and over here and over here. Anyway, I got to get going. Everybody have a good rest of your Wednesday. I'll be back on Friday to rank some 8-bit Nintendo games, and we'll talk soon, okay? See you then.